Hello everyone, it's Pat here from Beads and Plenty More, and today I'm going to talk about making rosaries. Now I've got a couple of rosaries here. This one is complete and this one I'm working on. The one that's complete here has got all the little wire wrap loops and is done with a lighter weight wire, a 24 gauge, and I'm making one that's just a little bit easier because it has just a single loop. Now I'm going to talk about making these loops. I used a 20 gauge wire, which I have a piece of here to work with. This is our 20 gauge wire. This one's a silver plate. I used the tinned copper, but the silver plate would also work very nicely. And so what we do is we put the bead onto the wire. Always good to find the hole. There we are. And I'm using a chain nose plier. Now there's also pliers that are called rosary pliers that have a cutter in here, and that would be another type of plier that would work very well. But I particularly like these fine nose chain nose pliers for making my loops. And also when you're working with wire, be sure to always work with the inside curve of the wire. Don't fight the wire by going against it. So go ahead and make your circle and tilt it back a little bit so that it leaves it open. Straighten it up. So then we push the bead up. So I've used labradite, or laboradite as some people pronounce it, for my 6mm beads, and I used a matte 8mm bead in our Chinese crystal as our the 8mm bead that's used in here. Okay, so a rosary consists of 5 groups of 10 with a bead that spaces them apart, and then the 3 beads that go down to the cross with the joiner connector bead in here. Okay, back to the making our loops. We'll cut that off. Now it's very important that the loops go the same direction. So I've got this one sitting this way. I'll tilt it over that way and go back with my round nose pliers, grab hold, and I'm going to roll it down this direction. So then I leave it open just a little bit so that you can link to the next one. Well, maybe just a little bit more would be better. So we'll just connect up to this one. Push it up from the bottom with your finger and get that just a little bit more. There we are. And then you grab hold with your chain nose plier, round nose plier, pardon me. Not a chain nose. Chain will make square loops, so like that. Now, there's a few issues that you can have with making these loops, so let's talk about that. We'll go back in with another bead, and I'll make my first loop. Go ahead and just make that one. It's the easy one to make always, because the other one we have to make to work right up to the bead. Okay, I'm going to cut it extra long, and I'll show you how to fix that problem. When you're making these, it's always maybe a better idea to cut it a bit too long, not too short, because once you cut it too short, you can't do anything about it. So if you have it this long and you start rolling it and you realize, oh, got a neck in here that we don't want to have, so go back in with your cutter pliers and we'll just nip off some of that. And always go away from yourself so you don't snap it into your face, of course. There we are. So shortened it up a bit, and we'll go ahead now and roll that piece down like so. So you end up with it matching up better. Now, if you were to find that one of your loops is facing one direction and the other one facing the other direction, which is what I'll do to show you on the next bead. Fortunately, there's not too many different things that you can do wrong, so I don't need to show you with all 50 beads. Okay, so go ahead and make that first circle. Oh yes, and to make sure I mention that this is a Catholic rosary. Now there are other rosaries, so I figure about 1/2 inch works for me. It kind of depends on the way you make your circles. Now I'm going to intentionally make this go the opposite direction here. This one goes this way, so we'll make this one go this way. So there we have one going each direction. So here's where the chain nose pliers come in handy. We're going to grab hold of the one side with the chain nose, roll that around, and just grab with your round nose and give it a twist. So then, even if they're just a little bit off, it's easy enough to fix it like that. Get this rounded a little bit more, in like that. There we are. And again, just release the one side so that we can link these together. So this is the simple loop technique, and as I say, we can also make a rosary using these wire lap loops that are more sturdy, but it takes a little bit more time. And again, every time you use one of these connector beads, you're using a piece of chain on my design. That's not necessarily, and then back in here, not necessarily with every rosary that you have it that way, but this design has it that way with a little piece of 3-link chain, and all I did was cut chain off of the full spool to get those few links. Okay, so have fun making your rosaries, and I'll take a picture of this one when I get finished with it, along with this one, so that you can use it as a guide if you're going to make one with my pattern, or there's probably lots of other patterns as well if you wanted to try something different. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.